So yes, you need to make friends then that are people that fit with you. And when it comes to partners, make sure that they are people that are, like have this connection with you at a deeper level. They have something in common. Otherwise, if they are a certain way and you don't like the way they are, it's not going to change. Because more than likely, the older you are, the more that is the case. They have been like that for too long. They have been like that for many years, so it will continue. And it's not the kind of thing that can be changed by another person that came into the picture, because you're already like that. Even themselves cannot change it. It will have something catastrophic will have to happen to them for them to change. The good news is that this is not just for bad people, this is also for good people. So, befriend good people, pair yourself up with good people, meet as many good people as you can, especially people that have been that way for many, many years, because they are not likely to change. So it's for everyone, good, bad, in between, great, not great, so doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if the tendencies are bad or if the tendencies are good. If all that has been there for too long, it will continue to be there. That's the way we are. That's psychology, or at least it's part of the psychology. Okay, 28. No, this is 28. 29. 29 is page 385. Okay, so Moonheart had stepped to the front of the group where he stood without flinching. And he did that to face the dragon and to talk, to talk for the group to the dragon. So the one that did that was Moonheart. At that point, I started to like Moonheart a lot more, because Moonheart, he's not very likable because of the way he treats Lightfoot, but he is like a commander. He's a very brave character. Let me read to you what I wrote here, which is more interesting. The bravest isn't necessarily the strongest, and the bravest is the one that does it best in tough situations. So in tough situations, you can have several people involved in a situation that is really difficult, psychologically and emotionally. And the tougher people are the ones that are going to deal with it better. But the tougher ones are not necessarily the ones that look toughest or strongest. The toughest ones are the ones that are toughest in their mind, not in their body. And yeah, sure, we can argue it's very likely that they may exercise because their mind wants them to be tough, so it leads them to do things that will also strengthen their body. But it's not necessarily the case for everyone. There are people who were not very strong physically and they're still very strong mentally. And that is where the real toughness is. When you have control of your mind and you're tough in your mind and you can use that to guide you. That's, in my opinion, what real toughness is about. Because if you're strong in muscles, but you don't have the toughness in the mind, you're still not ready to deal with the most difficult stuff. Pretty much. So, let's go to number 30. 444. 444. Actually, no, 447. Because the truth was too heavy a burden to place on you. This is Evie Morris, the grandmother, talking to Kara. You know, I still believe that any person, anyone is better off knowing the truth. That sometimes there are things that happen that are not good, and there are other people in your life that hide them from you and they don't tell you. Even in those cases, I still believe that the truth is the best policy, even if it is a harsh truth, a difficult truth, something that is not easy to accept. I truly believe that it is the best policy. Because even if it is hidden from the individual and no one tells him or her, that doesn't change the fact that it is the truth. So might as well know it. That's what I think about this, at least. So 31. Secrets are a heavy burden. More of a burden than I wanted to place on a child. So this is the grandmother talking to Kara still. So what I think about that kind of thing, like secrets that are a burden, I think that secrets are a burden if it is a bad secret and the person that is keeping the secret is a good person. Maybe the secret is about someone they know and it is something that this person should know. So this good person, obviously keeping the secret is going to be a burden for them. The only people for which carrying a secret is not a burden are the people that don't care about the secret, about anything, basically. So basically, if the person is a good person, carrying a bad secret is going to be a burden. But if the person is not good, they don't care about secrets or anything, so it's not going to be a burden for them, basically. So this really depends on the person. They're making it seem like it's for everyone. It's not for everyone. Okay, 32, page 450. Okay, so this wanderers cannot afford to be lonely. Well, it depends on what kind of wanderer, I thought. Because if it is wanderers that are traveling in a group, they're never lonely, I guess. I think that not only wanderers, but also leaders. Leaders that want to be true leaders, and strong leaders cannot be no, because they can be alone, obviously, but cannot feel alone. Leaders have to be, they have to have this spirit that is never alone and that is always ready and that is always open and powerful when it needs to be. I think that's, and obviously wise. It also needs to be wise. And all those things together are, in my opinion, what makes a really good leader. Okay, number 33. It says, things tie you down. Things tie you down. And it wasn't just things, it's, also some people can tie you down. But if the things and the people that tie you down are good things for you and good people, it doesn't matter, because then they are not a tie. They are, if they are very good things, very good people, they are blessing them. It all depends on the quality. If they're good, great. If they're not good, get rid of that tie right now, because it's not gonna do you any good. Number, this is pretty close to the end, so let's see, number 34. Page 465. I have always regretted the bitter words that passed between us at that time, granddaughter, and wish that I could have dealt with the situation with more wisdom and grace. But even a queen, and a very old one at that, can bungle situations of the heart far too easily. So I already mentioned something of this in one of the others. When emotions are involved, we need to be careful and we need to think before we say something right away or before we act right away, because when emotions are involved, especially if they are negative emotions, it's very likely that we're not going to say the best words, or we're not going to do the best action. And to make sure that you don't regret saying or doing anything, if you feel that you're in that position, stop and think before you do anything, before you say anything, because you may screw it all if you don't say the right thing or do the right thing. And the only way to prevent that is thinking clearly. Okay, 35. $482. It's pretty close to the end. 482. On the journey back, I had a great deal of time to think. Let me read you a note that I wrote there. Extended amounts of time alone and thinking clearly can bring a great self-enlightenment to any person, really, but especially to someone that is thoughtful and clever, like a philosopher, pretty much. And this time alone, thinking clearly about yourself, about what you want, about what you have, about everything, can clarify your life. And in many cases, not many cases, but in some special cases, it can even bring you to create a breakthrough or to bring an innovation to society. So if a person that is either very clever or very smart has a lot of time alone and thinking, and not thinking crap, but thinking good thoughts and thinking clearly and thinking about things that can make a difference, this person is capable of actually making a difference. And I think that's true. That's true, because I've spent many months living by myself, and I've had such a long time to think. And I am much more clear now than what I used to be years ago, because of all that time that I spent not just thinking, also improving myself and doing many other things, but there was a lot of by myself time And I think that time really helped me, a lot to grow spiritually, mentally, as a person. I have grown a lot because of what I did with all those months of by myself time. It makes such a huge difference. I really believe that any person, but especially a smart person, can reach a point or even a moment or thoughts of enlightenment if they are left by themselves in a place that they like and thinking of what is best for them. It's definitely, I think it's something that can help anyone. Even if they get just 1 week of a long time like that to think, it can help anyone, I think. Yeah. Okay, so number 36, and I only have one more after that. I think I'm gonna have to, next time, even if I get like 50 ideas that I mark, I'm gonna have to take it down to the best 15 to be able to make a video that is not 2 hours long.